Hello, and welcome to Daily Bread, Thoughts for Your Devotions. Today is Monday, May the 11th, and whenever you're tuning in, thanks for tuning in, and we're going to talk today about story, because last week we talked about Groundhog Day and how that story helps us to sort of deal with some of the things that are going on in our present age, our present time with this COVID pandemic, and days sort of running together, bleeding together, and what we're supposed to do with it. And so I thought it would be good for the start of this week and for subsequent episodes to talk about story a little bit, about narrative, about the truths that we can uncover from things that resonate with our human heart. One of my favorite authors is a guy by the name of John Eldredge, and I attended his boot camp with his Ransomed Heart Ministries in 2017. And one of the things that he said, he quoted a guy named Eugene Peterson when he wrote, "We live in narrative, we live in story. Existence has a story shape to it. We have a beginning and we have an end. We have a plot, we have characters." See, when we resonate with a narrative, with a story, it's because we all have a story as well. And Scripture is a collection of stories that really tells one divine story. And you can look to some of your favorite movies, some of your favorite films, some of your favorite books, and you'll see redemptive sort of storylines. You can see messianic sort of storylines. You can see all kinds of things that are contained in Scripture. And they resonate with us because Scripture is the story of God working with humans. Whenever we come across characters that have a sort of God-like aura about them, and they have certain characteristics and certain plots in their storyline that point to what we see in Scripture, we understand that there are some deeper truths going on that our hearts really resonate with. Now, Ransomed Heart Ministries does a really great job of talking about this. And so for the remainder of this week, and maybe even next week, we'll see how long we can keep this going and share new information. We will discuss what narrative does to us, and how being swept up into a narrative is attractive because we are all swept up into God's narrative as He inserts Himself into humanity through the person of Jesus Christ, and how before and after that Christ event, He is calling human beings to partner with Him, to do His work in this world, and therefore He gives us purpose. One of my favorite films that has these sort of messianic themes is a film named Gran Torino. And it's a Clint Eastwood film made some number of years ago, I think 2010, 2009. I should have looked that up before. But it has these elements in it. And you'll know that Hollywood doesn't do things by accident. And so when characters die in cruciform, meaning they look like they are crucified, their arms are wide, their legs are narrow, it's a hint, a nod at the Christ event, at the very crux, so to speak, of human history. And so I'd like to spend some time tomorrow. We're already about 4 or 5 minutes into this video right now, and so we don't have time to unpack that now. But I'd like to look at some of these themes: redemption, forgiveness, God's judgment, these sort of things. And we can pull from all different kinds of stories. But I want you, just for today, just for your personal devotion, to engage in an exercise that John Eldredge and Ransomed Heart Ministries encourages us all to do, and I have found particularly helpful. Think about the movie, or maybe 2 movies, that are your favorite films. And I'm not talking about the comedies that you enjoy sitting and watching popcorn with, but I'm talking about the kind that actually speak to your heart, the kinds that actually move you. The favorite ones for me, as I mentioned, Gran Torino, The Matrix, right? Gladiator, Braveheart, movies like this, where you get swept up into the story because the main character, has been swept up into a narrative much grander than they had ever thought possible. So think about that. And then tomorrow, we'll talk about some of these films, and we'll trace some of these films through the different lenses that we can read Scripture with. Anyway, that's all that I have for you today, but this is really just a prep for your heart, for your mind, so that we can continue on with this tomorrow. And so I pray that whatever story comes to your mind, that you would have some time to feel what your heart is actually yearning for, that's uncovered by these stories. For we all live in a narrative.